Every job has a purpose. Every career has a story. And every great business is built by passionate people. Mind your job.
This is episode 26 of Mind Your Job with Sari and Samara. Today we're going to talk to Cory Pinegar. A very interesting topic matter is more offshore employees, especially for front desks. And you and I know we have a hard time filling those and keeping them full. We might be able to fill them, but can't always keep them full.
Right.
It's going to be kind of an interesting conversation because it kind of is granular to what we do, but it's a little bit opposing, but it's good. It's always good to give people new ideas how to staff their offices fully and with the most capable, competent people, which is something I think that is a bigger belief of ours than anything else.
Yeah.
Take it away, Sam.
Right. So, first of all, Cory, thank you for being with us. I'm really excited for this conversation. Just a little background on you. From what I understand, is that you are the CEO of Reach, which is a company that redefined virtual staffing for dental practices across the United States. Is that correct?
That is correct. I hope it's me.
I hope that's you. Okay. And it's a pretty cool story. Like, you acquired it when you were 22 years old. You scaled it to support thousands of clinics, while also just kind of like focusing on culture and accountability and purpose. That's incredible. It's an incredible vision for someone who started at 22.
Hey, as we all know, number one, it's a pleasure to be here. And
Thank you for coming.
I think it is easy and a misnomer that entrepreneurs and Forbes and Fortune push out there is, yes, today it's easy to look and say, okay, we have had some degree of success. I am very lucky. Those first couple of years where you have no clue what you're doing, you're burning money, you don't even know how to hold a one-on-one, you don't know what a strategic planning meeting is. And so as an entrepreneur, like, it is about figuring it out and proving in one foot in front of the other every single day and just figuring out what works and getting rid of what doesn't.
It's stumbles, not falls, right? Catch yourself.
And some falls too, let's be honest. As much as we wouldn't want them, we've got them.
No, I understand. No, I completely understand.
I think sometimes with entrepreneurs, because like-minded, like us, it happens that way, is that if you give up when you're just about to get there, you like start short selling yourself. The evil twin gets in your head and is like, you can't do this anymore. And it's really just getting up the next day, like one more day. I've once heard that on a podcast is like, I just told myself one more day. I mean, there were times COVID almost killed us. Who was wanting to do a build out in the middle of COVID, which is what
that is crazy.
my core business was. That it wasn't, we were doing recruiting, but recruiting was not anywhere near what it is now for our company. And I was like, no one's going to do a build out. And then I was like, oh, I'll just give it one more day. Oh, we'll see what tomorrow looks like. And it really is that mentality, unfortunately, for an entrepreneur. I mean, you're living on the edge. Nobody as an entrepreneur has $6 million sitting in the bank to just play with. They are going day to day, paycheck to paycheck, and they are paying other people before they're even paying themselves. It's sort of the spirit of entrepreneurism, is that everybody comes before you. You're the leader of lots of people. So we get that.
I look back at the first 5 years where we burned millions of dollars. And to be totally candid, we should have bankrupted the business. Like, the business was on a peg leg, and that's probably the best, nicest term of it. But when I originally bought the business from Weave, I called my dad, and my dad kind of cut his teeth in corporate consulting, has run larger corporations. He's like, Dad, I've got this awesome opportunity. And I was supposed to do investment banking. And I told him I want to go buy this dental specific call center. And my dad is like, this is the worst idea. You're supposed to go to Hong Kong this summer and do sovereign credit risk in investment banking. And you want to buy a $1 dental call center. This is the dumbest idea I've ever heard. Mm-hmm. And I decided to do it. And the motivation when you say why keep going is because I wanted to prove my dad wrong, whether it had the right motivation,
Yeah, I
wrong
understand.
or right. But like in the moments 4, 3, 5 years in, where like we were just doggy paddling, trying to keep our heads afloat, functionably, it was like, we are bashing our heads against the wall and we are bleeding blood all over the face. But there's 1 or 2 bashes away where you finally get it. And then you get that very up into the right level of success. But it takes a almost maniacally insane person to make it work.
Love that word.
It's interesting. Peter Thiel just wrote a book from scratch to everything. I think it's what it is. I just started reading it, and it's literally what you said. It's like, what's your purpose? Why are you doing it? And get your why to get you up every day, kind of thing. But tell us a little bit about like what the turning point was for you and the core competency of what you guys are delivering to clients, because we get asked daily, find me someone, but your solution is a really great solution. And I want people to know about it, because there are some people I cannot find people for. And the solution of having somebody virtual could be the solution that changes everything for them.
So we're in the business of providing virtual staff, and I even want to take a step back here. Ultimately, what I like deeply believe in is, as business owners, our job is to solve problems for our customers. There are jobs that are done better in practice. I am not a believer of a kiosk for check-ins. I disdain it. Now, when people look at remote working companies, they think like, oh, we would be pro that. There's certain jobs that don't necessarily need to be in practice, though.
Right.
Verifying insurance, submitting claims, all of the back office work that does not require the physical in-person checking in, checking out, building that relationship, or the clinical work.
Right.
And so our job is to help get those jobs done easier, more reliably, more consistently, as you guys said, bringing in good people and letting them do their job so that the people in the practice can be focused on building rapport, doing the essential tasks, and focused on the actual work, which is clinical dentistry, removing some of that commotion that bogs and overwhelms practices down today.
Well, it ends up being the toxic matter, right? Because almost every dental practice, when I started consulting originally, almost every dental practice, it was the front against the back, the clinical back against the administrative front. And if you can remove any players so that it doesn't play into that, toxicity where you have the front against the back, I mean, that's huge. That's huge for culture.
And I would say, and I don't know if you guys see similar data, the front in the traditional version that it exists today is built to fail, and not because of the people. But you put 2 people in the front, they're checking people in, they're checking people out. Calls go in flows through the day. 32% of all phone calls during open hours are going unanswered. 56% of recare patients are not being reached out to that are overdue. $2.4 million of unscheduled treatment sits on average for a practice. And it's not because you don't have really good people in the front. There's too many damn jobs. You're checking someone in, you're verifying insurance. The more that you can bifurcate, not just removing some of these things, but actually specialize people in different areas, I believe you build better services. Just like you got a power forward in the NBA and you got a shooting guard. They don't need to play the same position because you have people that are good in different roles and you score more points because of it.
So you do a lot of advocating for a hybrid workforce, obviously, with the work that you do. And for a practice owner who is maybe kind of nervous about that idea of remote or international help, how do you define the hybrid team? So it's still, how do you explain it? It's still seamless, that it's still that, and why it would be a good fit for them.
Yeah. So I think the hybrid team, there's a quote, and I've seen it from Nike, but the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over and expecting a different result.
Actually, yeah.
You see, you know better than I do. I'm just lucky to be here. What I think's interesting and why I am an advocate of the hybrid workforce today is if you look at reimbursement rates in dentistry since 2001, on average, you're up about 5 to 15%. Delta Dental, you're actually maybe up 1% over 25 years. Over 25 years of traditional 2 to 3% average inflation compounded, we're above 100%. And so I think the reason the hybrid team is a must play now, just to like rationally step back, is having all of the staff in the practice with how expensive good labor is in the US now is impossible to make the unit economics work, because insurances are just not paying out enough money to play the game the way you did in 2001. And that's why I think the hybrid workforce has to exist, is because if you're going to verify insurance, but you're going to be paying someone $28 an hour all in New York City to do it, how are you going to make it work? It doesn't.
It's interesting that you said the thing about the treatment diagnosed and scheduled, like 2.4 million. When I talk to people about buying practices, they ask me what report they should run. And I tell them that, and I said, I want it broken down by year. Like, what's the number for the last 12 months and the 12 months that preceded that? And you would be amazed to know that when I show them this, I go, there's so much money in this practice to be made. Someone literally just has to dial for dollars. That's all they have to do. Sit at a desk. We diagnose 2 crowns. Did you want to get those done? Not even be commoditizing it by giving them a discount to schedule the work, just calling them to remind them to get them in for it is a huge thing, because it's not a lapse in care. It's a lapse that the person really doesn't want to get the work done, because 60% of the population is dental phobic. So why am I running back to give you, $2,000 for a crown I don't want to get? Not because I don't want to pay for it, because I don't want to sit in the chair for, 2 days, 2 hours each time, one to drill it, the next time to seat it. It's interesting that you made that point, because never do I hear anybody besides myself crystallize the point that there's so much money there if you just had the people to mine it.
I mean, let's even go deeper. If a new patient calls and their call is not picked up, the chance that you ever get them back on the phone is 14%.
0.
And so I like to make a horrible analogy of it. It is a chicken wing that someone's calling digested, and it's just got meat left over the bone. There's so much opportunity left in these practices. But what's cool and what I enjoy about business is money is the byproduct of good service. And if you pick up the phone, you provide better patient care. You provide better clinical care. If you call your overdue patient and say, hey, Cory, Dr. Pinegar noticed that you were overdue. We've got some availability this Thursday at 2 and this Friday at 4. When is best for? You're showing that you're caring. You're not the used car salesman trying to push a car at the end of the month deal. There are so many people reaching out. Oh, let me chat with my partner and I'll get back to you. Does the practice ever call that lead back? No, they wait. And so this world that we're talking about here, tons of missed opportunity, actually grows a business without even having to talk about new patient leads. And you provide better care. You run a better business.
So you said, this black hole that exists in healthcare lead management, right? It's a black hole. There's no follow through. When a dental practice doesn't answer a live call, or when they lets the insurance verification lag, what does it actually cost them annually in real dollars, or what can that represent?
It's hard. I couldn't give you a rough number, because you've got some practices that do $500,000 a year, and you run into the $5 million practice. Okay. I think functionally, if you were to capitalize on what you can, there's between a 15 and a 20% lift in revenue for a practice, and a meaningful lift by picking up the phone, making your outbound calls, submitting your claims on time so that they don't get denied, submitting the claims properly. All of the loose ends, I think, can provide a very meaningful bump on the front end and the back end.
Mm-hmm. Got it. You've done a little bit, I was doing some research, and there's been some, conversation about AI driven scheduling. And we've talked about how there are some jobs that should be patient facing or face to face or by phone. And some of these are now going AI. Go ahead and give us your 2 cents on
Oh,
thing.
my view on like AI scheduling in particular.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
automated billing. And
Ooh,
do you see it as a threat to dental jobs? Do you see it as the ultimate tool in saving the industry? What do you think about it?
I am 32 years old and a 64-year-old man that loves the paper newspaper every morning below it all. So like when Delta cancels my flight, I'm pounding the 0 button until I can talk to an agent. I got the Delta app right on my phone popping up right now.
Mhm.
And so I personally love human interactions. I think that's where real relationships and connection are driven from. What I do believe AI should be used as is the accelerant of good
Mhm.
humans. If we could get more insurance verifications done with less manual labor and more accurately, if we could submit claims and narratives more timely because of it, less people are focused on the admin side and can be focused on the relationship side, which actually drives retention, and on the clinical side. I look at AI probably more as like steroids. If you don't have someone who's going to the gym,
Mhm.
if I were to take anabolic steroids, I don't go to the gym, so it ain't going to do anything for me. But if you have someone who's a great person, who's going to the gym consistently, who's trained properly, the anabolic steroids provides a really good accretive acceleration to their impact. But do I just think AI needs to be thrown on everything? Absolutely not. You look at the slop that's on Instagram and that you see in the token maxing world today. For me, it's more about how do we get things done more efficiently and more accurately, but it starts with good people.
And I know that you also do quite a bit of advocating or trying to educate your clients on performance trackers, right? Like it's really important metrics. It can be such an anxiety inducing request, right? Start tracking. I want to see see what your front desk performance is, how follow through. How are you able to explain to them that actually once they have those numbers, it's less stress on them? How
Okay,
do you explain this?
this is an awesome subject, and I could rant on here for hours. For me, it's not even talking about the performance tracker to start. Onboarding within dental practices is horrendously bad. And I'm a very analogous thinker. And so I think about, so I live in Salt Lake. Above me is the Teton Mountains in Idaho. I don't know if either of you have been up to that part of the US, but the Teton Mountains straddles Idaho and it straddles Wyoming. And so if I were to say, hey, let's go meet Monday morning and hike the Tetons, you could show up on the Wyoming side. I could show up on the Idaho side. And there's 42 trailheads. So when I say, hey, Sam, I'm hiring you to be my front desk, am I actually clarifying on what you're doing and what success really is? Whether this is remote, it's just that much worse when it's remote because you can't yell down the hallway and say, hey, did you see? And also a doctor or the owner is really, it's easy to look down the hallway and say, oh, Cory's on the phone all the time. He's or she is doing good. You don't have that. So there's more of an intrinsic lack of trust when it comes to remote work. But if people were onboarded with, here's what time we're meeting to hike the Tetons, here's what trail we're meeting on, here's what peak we're going to, here's what success is. Hey, Steph Curry, I'm hiring you and I need you to score 20 points a game. Instead of I'm hiring you to be a basketball player. Well, then my definition of 20 points a game could be your 10 points a game. And then I'm frustrated after the season saying this player stinks. And so the performance tracker is just a way of aligning around whatever the practice defines as success. Because if we finish a game and we don't have a way to go back and quantify, someone feels like they played their heart out, someone isn't satisfied with the results. I'm a huge sports lover. And I think sports is simple because it allows you to say you did it or you didn't. It's very binary. And in work, sometimes the emotion and the lack of clarity gets caught up where then frustration and friction happens, and it's avoidable by proper onboarding, proper clarity on the role and the success of the role, and then being able to go back and showcase we did it or we didn't.
So of your clients in the 10 years that you've been doing Reach, what is like your biggest success story? What client have you just seen that was just because I have clients that come to me and they're like this. They can't even look at me. They're like, I'm struggling. The bank won't give me any more money. I have no idea what I'm doing. And it's always a people problem. Business is about people, or don't get into it. Period. I don't care what widget you're making. If there's not someone good to sell it, it's untold, unsold, and it's just undone. What is like your biggest success story? I don't mind, but I want to hear where you were just like, you felt so bad for the person, you wanted to like physically help them yourself, where you saw like unbelievable results in a short period of time.
Okay, I'm going to answer it in a slightly different way. So in total, we have a few different verticals. We're very large within dental. We're in optometry. We're in med spa. We're in senior home care, and we're in vet med. In total, we have about 5,000 global team members. And I went to an optometry show in Nashville in April. And while I was there, I had 6 of our team members come up while we're at the booth that were flown in by their practice. They didn't ask us to pay for it. They were flown in from Brazil, flown in from Argentina, flown in from Chile. For me, when these doctors come up and say, I have peace of mind because I have someone who cares and is reliable picking up the phone or verifying insurance, like we can talk big numbers or drastically reducing phone calls. There's 2 parts of the job I love, where you can tell someone sleeps easier because they know that they have a partner behind the scenes that gives a damn. And number 2, it's when people get humanized. Like where you watch, it's not that I outsource my insurance verifications and I don't talk to them. It's where you watch these people and they're like, they're part of my team. Okay, they live 3,500 miles away, but like they're on my morning huddles. I had someone the other day at a conference show me that they had all their team members virtually put the color of the gender reveal that they thought it would be behind the screen. And that's the stuff where I see a doctor say, I can go home at 5 and be a little bit more present with my family, my husband, my kids. And when I see these people globally who are used to getting treated crappily in the world of outsourcing, getting valued and respected as a human being should, that to me is worth everything in the world.
If a practice owner is watching, listening right now, and their front desk is entirely overwhelmed, right? Like phone is ringing, patients are checking in, insurance holds are going on. What is the first data point or metric? And I'm curious what Sari would say to this as well, but what's the first metric that they would need to look at to figure out why their system is broken?
Sari, go. Then we'll see if we align or not. I'm excited.
I run a time report. I want to see what time is the heaviest call volume, the heaviest. I want to look at my schedule. I might even think about redoing my schedule. I think one thing that Cory probably hears a lot about is retemplating. I don't know if you hear a lot about that, but I think a retemplate may need to go into effect. We bring everyone in for a 9 o'clock hygiene appointment. The front desk is slammed now with everybody for a 9 o'clock hygiene appointment, a 9 o'clock doctor appointment. It's too much. There needs to be a better system of how you use the time and bring someone in at the right time. What is our highest call volume and our busiest time of the day where we could utilize somebody for 6 hours? We may not need someone for a full 8-hour period, but what is our highest, when is our most, whatever, unusual, how busy we are during one particular time of the day or the other? What do you think? Am I wrong?
Oh, I don't think there's a right answer here. Hey, the farther you go in business, you realize no one really knows what the truth is. We're just guessing in the right direction together.
The bullshit is good.
Hey.
No, I wasn't bullshitting, but that's how I would do it. I would look at scheduling, how my schedules are aligning, try and fix things maybe that way. But then I would try to look for a solution. I wouldn't want to hire another physical person. I'd want to hire another person where I know things can get done and it can help help the team so that they don't feel like they are under that much stress? Because I think
Yeah.
that's what happens is they get under stress, and that's when the toxicity starts.
So I think there's two things. Like when I look at practices failing for some reason, a doctor feeling overwhelmed, and there's two like things that you have to look into. Where's your core issue? Is it a people or a process issue? Because if you go slap people on poor processes, it gets worse. And
Right.
so I wouldn't go say, oh, we've got a horrible schedule management and we're going to go out of virtual worker on top of this. That person's set up to fail. The second thing that I actually find really interesting is instead of saying, here's my problem, going to the doctor and saying, what do you actually want more of? New patients? Do you want more reactivation? Like, what is the outcome that you're looking to drive? Because if we know the core issue, whether it be not enough people, poor processes, and we know what outcome we're actually pushing towards, we can identify the core issue, but reposition the solution to actually drive the outcome that the doctor will look back at and be like, oh, okay, some people truly could say, I just don't want to hear the phone ring more than 3 times. That could be their outcome of the patient experience they want to give. But if we don't engineer around that and understand the core problem, we're just slapping people, processes, or even pointing in a different direction and not solving the thing that they actually desire.
When you fix these things operationally, what usually happens to the team? Is there a little chaos first and then there's calm?
Oh, like adding in a virtual team member?
Because I always say to people, for 6 weeks, you're going to be out of sorts. And then 6 weeks is going to pass and everyone's going to be in line with what's going on. But just give it a couple weeks because everyone's got to get in tune with what the new process is going to be or how we're changing things, what our protocol is now. It's going to take 6 weeks. And then after 6 months, it becomes like second nature. Like just because you or I come up with a solution doesn't necessarily mean everybody else is on board with what our solution for the problem is. And if they're not on board with it, it's going to take them a little longer to adapt to it.
I 100% agree. And I even think our world of remote work is exasperated even more. Usually the doctor is making the decision that I'm fed up with this hiring or retention issue or cost issue. We're going to go hire Reach or another outsourcing company. And then they walk in on Monday and they say, office manager, here's what we're doing. And the office manager goes, we're not outsourcing. I've outsourced before. The quality sucks. And so then you talk it through. We start with reservation either on the office manager side and always on the front desk team member side, because when they look initially, and I do not blame them at all for this, at a remote hire, they say, these people are coming for my job. If I, like it starts with a position of there
Right.
are times that I think there is intentional or non-intentional sabotage, but people are scared. And there is no formal training book on how to train in a dental practice for the most part. We operate on the pull a chair up theory. Well, then you go to remote work and people look like a deer in the headlights because now it's, I got to hop on Zoom and Google Meets and screen share. And how do I get the remote access set up? And so for us, it's about pragmatically saying we do this and we do this and we do this, but we start with a lot of fear and apprehension. And then the ramp of any normal team member is 2 to 6 weeks at a minimum. But we even start before that with people saying, I'm really scared. I don't know what to do, or I'm not sure I want to make this work because the doctor just told me I need to do this.
I mean, it's so interesting that you say that because it's like every time there's pushback on anything. I mean, I go into offices that don't have employee handbooks. They don't have job descriptions. So asking them to have like a job manual for each position, oh my God, that would be like a dream for a lot of people or an office manager. I mean, they just don't, nobody thinks ahead. And I always use you could get hit by a bus walking down the street. And then I do not know how to do a deposit tomorrow. I don't know how to close a day. I don't know how to open up a new template or schedule or any of these things because there's nowhere I can even go to find it. And I mean, I liken it to say, like, if you die with a will, your family's happier because they have a direction map to what you wanted. This is the same thing. There's no direction map for a lot of these employees, and they come in. And that's why do you think people leave jobs? It isn't always because of money. Actually,
It is
it's way
rare.
down.
It's rare to, yes. If people love who they work with and feel like they provide purpose and have clarity and structure, money is actually one of the least indicators in the change.
But it can't get you happy at your job if you don't understand. Being happy at your job is knowing, like, exactly what you said about the doctor having a better work-life balance. Being happy at my job is I can leave for a vacation for 1 week, not miss a beat, not come back with 9 million emails, text messages, and everything that I have to go through now. And someone can take over my job. They don't need to bother me. The information is in the server somewhere, how to do the deposit or how to do the day sheet, or all that stuff isn't waiting for me.
Here's my very sincere question for you. How do you change this? And the reason that I ask that is, again, the system's built to fail. You're clinically practicing 8 hours a day. You still got to file your taxes. You still got to do an hour to 2 hours of additional business admin work to keep the wheels on the bus. No one's trained you on SOPs, one-on-ones, clarity. And SOPs are one thing, but if people aren't living and breathing them, they also don't do anything. You go into offices that have a manual. Well, they just copied their best friend's manual that they got from somebody else. So, like, people can have it on paper.
Nothing. It's better than nothing.
How do, in the industry, we begin to change this, given that the clinicians are the owners and they're 10 hours a day and just keeping the wheels afloat? Like, is it deeply investing in improving the office manager ownership? Or, like, where do you structurally actually begin to change this? Because there's not enough time in the day and bandwidth to even begin having the conversation on the owner level.
We're going through this right now. We have a client that has a 5-location operation. There is nothing but chaos. The guy is a great clinician and he's a really good person. He has allowed the office manager to take like a CEO role in the company, and it's bad. You can't look at a P&L. You can't look at anything. There's
over time.
And it's an overabundance of what I like to say is like taking over and abdicating their responsibility as an owner to let someone else do it. There is no job description for anyone. There is no SOP. I'm pretty sure that if I started to dig into HIPAA and OSHA, and that's the thing, right? Like when Sam and I hire doctors for people, one of the things I always want to say is you better make sure your OSHA and your HIPAA's up to stuff, because a new doctor's coming in and looking at that as something that is going to want to make them work there. Like, are you following the rules? Like, are you a rule follower? Period.
They're putting their clinical license on the line, and if things are not done compliantly, get me out of there.
They don't care about it. And I go in and I'm like, you've got a mess here with HIPAA and OSHA. They're like, well, can you fix it? Sure. I can fix everything in your office, but here's what's going to happen. I'm a consultant and you're a pretty shiny object today, but in the distant future, you're not going to be a shiny object for me anymore. Not in a mean way, but I'm going to be done getting everybody together, getting your team. And this is the answer to your question. If you start treating the people who work for you like it's a team and not like it's an employer-employee relationship, it works a lot different. Did the team have buy-in to the virtual working people? Does the team have buy-in to doing the SOPs when I say, okay, guys, I'm coming back in 2 weeks. And in 2 weeks, I want to see what your new policies and procedures are, what your job descriptions are. I mean, I don't try to layer it on so thick, but I have to do a fair amount of coaching with the owner to get them to the point where they have to understand just because these people don't have the loans out on the practice doesn't necessarily mean they're any less the team besides you. They're your team. If they don't show up, you're down a team member. If they don't do their job well, you're not going to have enough patients to see to make the money. So you have to get everybody to buy into it's a team. It's a buy-in. Buy in. Who bought in?
Right, Sari, the phrase that I've heard is retention is the new recruitment. It's
Totally.
right? Like what, and retention is the new recruitment. And as I have on a note here when I was doing some stuff is, there needs to be non-monetary perks or reasons that somebody wants to stay or a cultural shift. So exactly, do you have a say in, or do they give you buy-in? Do they listen to your opinions? Do they understand a doctor is doing his or her work and doing it? The front desk person knows more about what's going on regarding patient interaction up front. And so that person should be able to report back to the dentist and say, hey, this is what I'm seeing. This probably should change in this way or that way. And there should be some back and forth conversation about it.
And the team needs to be bought in. If the team is not bought in, you can forget it. So it doesn't matter how much money they spend on Cory or Sari or Sam. They're on the hamster wheel. And I see it every single practice. It's the same story. I could write the story. And then what's happened is there's toxic matter because the doctor relies on one person to do everything. That person now thinks they're the boss. They have no leadership training whatsoever. They have no idea. They're not an entrepreneur. They have no idea how to do anything, and they're not accountable. And here's the other thing that happens in offices. No reviews. If you don't tell somebody where they need to improve and give them an opportunity to talk to you about what their goals and what their dreams are, and you don't have sort of a group vision of how things are going to be, you can forget it. It's not going to happen. It doesn't matter. I could charge you $10 million, come in and sit at your front desk. But if I don't have 10 team members that are thinking the same way I am, I'm just one person on a hamster wheel going round and round and round and round. That's what I see. There has to be buy-in. It has to be a team, and you got to clean up the swamp. You can't start to do everything until, if you don't have a job description for somebody, but you're hiring them on in a virtual position, good luck. You're going to hate that person. They're never going to perform to your standard because they don't know what that is.
So I fully agree. And there's two notes that I took here. My question is, how do we, for a practitioner that's practicing 5 days a week, kind of the conclusion that I came to as I heard both of you talk is, if you are not taking time to be the CEO of your practice every week, half a day or a day, and you're clinically practicing every waking hour the practice is open, driving that alignment, driving that training, driving those individual ownerships, and then still investing. Because if you do then say, I'm going to take half a day or a day for admin, you also need that boots on the ground leader where you still have an office manager who you're aligned with. It's not that you give them carte blanche and they go out there and hire, fire, and give raises and you just clinically practice. But I do think getting the right training on leadership for the office manager, not just, hey, here's how to be an office manager and do the admin duties, but the right leadership training and the right structure or systems integration through a consultant or other type of training. If you actively are showing up as CEO, but then you have someone you're aligned with on systems and leadership leading that additional time, then I actually think you can drive these things through. But until you buy back your time and invest in the business while people are there, I don't know how to do it.
You have to set it up. I mean, I can't come in and you can't come in and wave a magic wand and go, oh, you're going to have all these great virtual employees. Now we've got someone that answers the phone, and we've got someone that does insurance claims. We've got someone calling all of our treatment, diagnose, and schedule people. I mean, it doesn't matter how good we help if there isn't like a systematic way of doing it and there's no leadership. You tell me what big company works without leadership, where there's no C-suite.
Well, tell me what company works without leadership.
I don't know. Mine. That's not true. I try to do a fair amount of that, but sometimes I'm not always like readily available. But I mean, it's a different thing. We're consulting, so a lot of people are off in their own corner doing things, and we're not always meeting to talk about how we can do things better. But I think offices don't have monthly meetings. They don't have daily huddles because the doctor doesn't want to come in then. I can't get up that early. Well, then you're going to fail. Why do you own a practice? Go be a part. I guarantee you, you can go make more money working as an associate for someone, not having to worry about any of the administrative stuff, than you can owning your own practice. Because if you don't care about it the most, it's not going to care about you back the most.
And I fully agree with that.
The mirror reflects what it sees. If you're not caring the most, it will not reflect the caring the most.
I completely agree. And I was just going to say, when an owner, a manager, a boss, doesn't, how do I put this? Like, be a part of the team, not above the team. Come in, say thank you, show appreciation for the work that they're doing by being there alongside them, understanding what they're doing, and not being on top, pointing out things that could be better or be doing wrong, but get in on the ground with them so that you can see what they're doing and either give kudos or suggestion. It doesn't work if you just come in right before your appointment and tell everyone what could be done differently and then go away. You need to be a part of it. You need to understand the stressors and what's going well and what could be tweaked or what should be left alone. Wouldn't you say?
I totally agree.
I mean, come in early with a cup of, coffee, soda, tea, whatever, sit with your team and just ask them what the day looks like and how it's going to go. Not every day, but once a week, maybe once every 2 weeks.
Feedback,
Yeah.
by the way, is the first word in the English language that uses every letter from A to F, but it's the biggest word that a lot of people aren't using. Give me feedback. Let me know. You can't tell me in a review that I'm sucking and not ever say to me, in 90 days, we're going to talk about your improvement. I mean, you have to do that. You have to. Investing in your people doesn't mean buying them lunch, although it's a really great gesture. And trust me, you do get mileage from it. You have got to be able to give feedback back to people. Constructive criticism is constructive, not destructive. Destruction is not saying anything and building the fire of anger. And, it's when I come into offices, there's a lot of destructive conversation. I'm unhappy. Why are you unhappy? Tell me what the reason is. No one's talking to the people to check in, take the temperature. You've got to take the temperature to see what it is. It could be 150 degrees in there and nobody knows it.
Oh, everybody knows it, just no one acknowledges it.
Or they're used to it.
When I look at why I actually think I struggled in my first 4+ years of business, love my parents, no slander against my mom, who's probably going to listen to this. Love you, Susan. My parents are not great communicators, and my parents are not clear at all. Like, my parents never argued growing up, but it also means we never addressed any tension in the home. And so the first 4 years of business, I thought you could just work around the problem by working harder.
No,
and I had a phrase told to me years ago that said, kind is clear and clear is kind. And if I can go to someone and say, I care about you, and if I can give it in a kind but yet clear way, I'm helping them grow. Where I went wrong is I thought clear and kind feedback was rude. Now, if I come and say, I don't like you, I'm attempting to tear you down, the feedback is not feedback. It's not meant to drive positive change. And so when I could, at a breaking point, internalize, okay, do I care about this human being? Yes. Then go give the kind and clear feedback as soon as you have it. Don't sit on it. Go share it, because that's where you show people, I'm here to work with you as we grow. And in turn, they're going to bring back the kind clarity to you so that you can have the insights and visibility into parts of the business that you may not see. Genuinely, that individual phrase there was the biggest catalyst to the transformation the next 5 years took.
I love
That's unbelievable. I mean, but you're totally right. And here's the sneaky thing in the dental world. Everybody who's listening, if you're a front desk person, what are you going to end up being? An office manager? The growth is not substantial. They know that. You've got to come up with ways to make it seem as if someone can grow in an environment where it doesn't look like they're going to grow. Do you know what I'm saying?
Disagree. Hey, I've got a take on this one.
They're not going to become the owner of that practice.
Oh no,
like there's a line that they know that they're going to be plateaued at, no matter where. No matter
have you
who
read
they are.
Kim Scott's Radical Candor?
No.
One of my favorite books, but in it, she talks about when you hire in different roles, you need to say, do I need a rock star or a superstar? And a rock star is what's called a stable supporter. They love what they do. We've all gone into that office, the office that I've gone to for years. The same lady's been at the front for 20 years and she loves it. She cares about the patient. It's not half-assed. But when we realize the role, we need to say, do we need a rock star or a stable supporter? If I need an accountant, but I don't need a CFO, if I go hire a superstar, then I'm going to run into a problem where they want to become a CFO and I don't need the CFO. And
doctors want superstars. That's the thing. They don't realize. I agree with you. There are stable support people. Like my dream retirement is to go work at Costco. I want to be the person that puts the highlighter on the paper every day. That's my retirement plan. Great benefits, great company. I don't have to learn anything new. I know I'm not going to grow and I don't want to grow.
And you can try smileys on the kids.
Yeah. and just be like a happy person and say, oh my God, thank you for coming here. Have a great day. Your receipt looks good. Have a great day. I mean, to me, I could do that, but that is not how it's presented to people when they come to work for your front desk. You know,
so
oh my God, you're a superstar. You're going to love working for, when you're 25 years old, you're not staying in a dental office for 20 years. Probably not happening. So it's unfortunately an age thing. I'm not an ageist. But when you're looking for someone to hire for your front desk, you are looking for that stable person. I agree with you. But I'm telling you, the perception and what the reality are two different things. It's somebody who thinks, oh, I'm going to grow. Well, there's only one place for you to grow. Front desk, office manager. Unless you're going to go to RDA or EFTA school or become a hygienist, you're not really, or going to dental school, you're not growing. And it's understood, but it's not spoken about.
And I actually think this is a great topic. Going back to our kind is clear conversation, when we are preparing to hire for a practice and the doctor comes in and says, I want an insurance verification specialist and I need them to be a superstar, we then pause the conversation and say, hey, we want to actually explain the difference between these things. And we would rather die on the hill of this is what's going to provide you the long-term retention and engagement that you need, instead of yesing you to death and then having this person leave 13 months down the line because they say, well, the growth isn't here. So when we interview or work with the doctors on building that job description where we see those superstar behaviors come out on a non-superstar needed role, we try to say, hey, you hired us to bring you someone reliable and engaged. If we hire for this, you're not going to have the reliability. The second thing is when we have people go through our interview process on the application side, we're actually testing for if they show rock star or superstar personality characteristics, because for the vast majority of brick and mortar healthcare roles, they're rock star roles, not superstar roles. And that's where we got it wrong when we started too.
I would love to see what you're testing, how you're doing your testing, because we could use a little bit of insight there. I mean, I would say primarily we hire doctors and hygienists, but we get asked by clients that are good clients, you've done such a good job. Could you find us a front desk person, a dental assistant? And we're like, sure. It's costly, and we will say, we're going to send this person over to you we're not sure if they're a fit for you personality wise, because regardless of what we think, this person has to match with the doctor, or it's lock heads and forget about it. So we really try hard to like match culture with the person. It's one of the reasons why I think we've been mildly successful doing what we do. We've been a little more than mildly, but
Fair, yeah.
I'm trying to be humble here. While we've been successful doing what we do, we really try to match culture with a person that's going to fit into
Right.
that culture versus I've got a doctor who's a superstar coming into a culture where he's going to not perform at the rate that he thinks he can or has spoken to us about like what skill set he has. And yeah, I
agree with
mean,
you.
it is a thing, but I mean, we just do it as a talking thing, but if you have something that you're using to distinguish people, I would love to hear about it.
So we use an AI recruiter. It's from a company called Micro One, but based on the role, we are then procuring different technical, soft skill, and personality characteristics to then provide that match making ability. But we take, on average, about 30,000 inbound job applications in a month. So we have to sift the wheat from the tares in a way where we say, here's the minimum standard, but then here are the quirks of personality or soft skills. And then we say, okay, you meet the standard. Now, how do we look at the soft skills and personality and line them up to the right practitioner owner?
Micro One, you said it's called.
Micro One.
Okay. Thank you for this. Much appreciated.
Not perfect, but it's a step in the right direction. And AI is getting better and better. But we years ago got wrong too, being like, wow, this person's incredible. And then realizing that those superstar people had significantly lower retention. And you're back in the same position that practices are today with retention issues if we create those same things.
Because retention.
People need stability.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yes, absolutely.
Can we have you back?
If
This
you
is
want-
really fun. Oh my God.
Yes,
We really want you to come back. We're going to do a part 2 of this.
definitely.
Let's do it.
We just don't want to like inundate anybody, and we're getting close to an hour.
But I'm going to come up with like debate questions for you too.
I mean, well, no, it's good.
yeah, I think it's good.
We're both coming at it from the same thing, but we see different points of view, which I
Right.
think
I love healthy debate because it's where we all figure out what actually works.
Right.
I mean,
agree
and
with you.
we are really in a transition time right now with hiring across the world. People wanting virtual people, it becoming a bigger thing. People wanting people like what we hire, a
Right.
stable person sitting at the front desk, and it is really. I mean, what we could all maybe. This could be a whole nother company that spins off from this.
Well, I think the hybrid workforce that we've always looked at of like, okay, you have in person, now you have remote work, is now actually taking an evolution where then is the hybrid workforce more like agentic agents, remote workers, in-person people, and how do you actually build a unified culture and company in that kind of last agentic transition? We're so used to AI probably not being that thought process, but when you look at the workforce, you can just have AI rinse and repeat the same task every day and do it really darn well. And so I think also the definition of that hybrid world is vastly changing.
Oh, it's
Agreed.
But I think it's going to. I mean, you said something, and I believe this is true. You're a millennial. I'm a Gen X, and I'm not saying this to be mean, but I want forward facing. I want to talk to someone. I hate when I can't talk to someone on the phone. I get nuts about it. And I do think that there still is. I don't want to make an appointment to go to the doctor on a computer. I want to talk to somebody, and I want to make sure I know that I'm going to the right place, to the right office. Because there are doctors that have more than one office now. Or you can't find the office because it's in a very weird hallway that sort of like is in a trapezoid at the end of a building. I mean,
But so I fully agree, but let me double down on your,
like
double.
thinking, and sometimes it's really important. Not hybrid. I'm talking about like the AI stuff where someone cannot answer your question.
Well, and even beyond that, There's a study that BYU did years ago. It's one of the largest human-based studies ever. I think they had 310,000 participants, and they looked at longevity of life. The biggest differential was relationships. I think as the world of AI becomes colder and colder and colder, you're actually going to see people say, what's the bounds of AI? More online today, do I see, I am so sick of AI slop. Cut this out. I'm so sick of the damn M dash in every LinkedIn post about what they learned from the soccer game and how it applies to B2B sales. And because of that, people want authenticness. Our best ads, we have 2 full-time videographers and $100,000 of equipment. Our best performing ad is me filming on my iPhone in my backyard because people crave authenticity. And
You're a person.
And so as the world changes, yes, we know millennials and Gen Z, like there is less human and like they love the texting, but I actually think there's going to be a natural swing back where people are like, I'm really lonely. Okay, I can brain rot on TikTok and Instagram, but I don't feel connected or fulfilled. And that's what makes a practice different, is not that, you go to the practice, not because the clinical care is good. As a patient, it's very difficult. I've done this for 10 years. I have a hard time knowing if I'm getting the best clinical job done. They go because they feel like the person who has their hands in their mouth cares and is good, and they have a relationship with the people around the practice. That is the personality. That is the humans.
100%.
I agree. Well,
Thank you for coming.
thank you, Cory. Appreciate it.
We had a blast.
Yes.
Thank you. This was awesome.
Mind your job.
Mind your job.